And here we are live. Just a moment, getting ready to start this broadcast. We are under national emergency has been declared. And now, just as we spoke about, this is the situation and they won't stop. And they've been saying they won't stop. So, like I said, now Trump has declared a national emergency. And like I told you, last week, we had ISIS fighters coming in with the group, with the Guatemalan group. You got also Venezuelans coming in. This is the trigger domino effect that we was talking about. And now, like I said, you got the person coming out, the army vet or whatever coming out saying that there was also ISIS fighters, which I had said last week. So now we get into the situation. And now we move further into the UN's failed agenda and policies and the reason why this is happening. And we got to see this to have a future.
$200 at this hour.
So what do you think? Is it time for the military to get involved? Let's ask our U.S. Army veteran and Fox and Friends weekend co-host Pete Hegseth. Pete, you served our country. What do you think?
I served our country. I never served at the border. But I think in this particular case, it will be time to deploy the military. I believe so, because we haven't changed our immigration policies. We don't have a wall. Catch and release still in effect. We're not stopping them before they come to the border. We don't have the ability to really deal with this. And we were talking to folks on the border yesterday on the weekend show. They said we're utterly unprepared for this. We're doing the best we can with what we have, but crossings are still up. And with this caravan coming, we're not ready.
Yeah, you're not ready, but by law, if they cross, there's certain things that they are entitled to. They're going to get their time in front of a judge. They're going to be held by about 20 days. So it doesn't matter if the Army's there. Somehow we got to get on the other side of the border
because the
to
laws,
stop it.
Because the laws are, as the president calls them, dumb. They don't make sense. They don't protect our sovereignty. That's where you have to go back to Congress and say it's about time we actually do something about it. A wall is part of saying you don't get to come into our country unless you prove that you're a refugee. So go to a port of entry, claim asylum. You'll get your day in court. We'll determine whether it's valid or not. But you got the president of Guatemala saying to a local newspaper down there just last week they caught over 100 ISIS fighters in Guatemala trying to
So I told you last week that there was ISIS fighters coming in, and Guatemala president said that. And it's funny that the army or military vet was the only one that could bring that up on Fox News. And like I said, they won't stop. And they've said that. You can look at the articles here, putting you into that. There's no turning back. Migrant caravan stuck on Mexico. Border vows not to be deterred. So what did Trump do? He declared national emergency for this situation because he had no choice. And this is not martial law. Martial law and national emergency is two different things. I'll let you go look that up on your own time. But it could turn into martial law. But moving forward, sadly, it looks like Mexico's police and military are unable to stop the caravan. This is from Trump's Twitter. Heading towards the southern border of the United States. Criminals and unknown Middle Easterns are mixed in. And that's proven. I have alerted Border Patrol and military that is a national emergency. He said emergency. Must change laws. But anyway, moving forward, some of them did stop. And I seen video reports of them stopping and getting in line. Now, that's what I'm telling you. All of them didn't keep going, but the numbers did grow. And I'm going to show you a video, put you into that.
The crowd swelling in numbers after illegally pushing across the border from Guatemala, with hopes of eventually arriving here in the United States. The images underscoring how perilous the trek can be. Some parents carrying children crossing into Mexico by raft. Along the journey north, lines of Mexican police and riot gear.
Tonight, the migrant caravan is growing. The group, fleeing violence and poverty in Central America, has pushed through Mexico's southern border, and many Mexicans are joining in as they move north.
Now, they say it was like a growing number of 7,000. It's more than 7,000. The reports were showing that it was up to 10,000 or more, which it looks like a lot more. So you got them coming in, bombarding through, telling you like, oh, we ain't stopping and we ain't signing up like the rest of the people do. Like I said, the ones who are smart and civilized stopped. Now you got these groups getting paid, like the video I showed you the other day. And I put that on JWTV Network. So now Trump has cut the funds because this was the situation. If you come, we cut the funds. So now they're doing it. Why this even happening, like we talked about, this is a failed Agenda 2030 of the UN. And the UN resettles a lot of migrants. They have the camps. They were supposed to end hunger. They were supposed to end poverty. They had all these agendas, and they're failing over and over and over again. And I'm going to read you a little bit of what I wrote on the article. Stephen Jackson exposes mainstream media hidden lies by Honduran migrants, caravans coming in. Numbers are being down reported. You will learn the plan and the real numbers and see the shocking footage. This is migration war plan. Organizers are the UN, United Nations, with failed Agenda 2030 policies, drying up families and countries' resources to collapse them into the next country. And like I said, this is what's happening. We got Hondurans coming in, and then Mexicans just joining in. And at the same time, you got ISIS fighters joining in who's getting arrested. And they're not all getting arrested. Of course, we know that. But this is the failed Agenda 2030. And then you had seen the video yesterday I put on JWTV Network, which you can watch after this video. Just click below and you'll find that where they showed them getting paid and that was coming in. And they don't talk about how they just push through the police and start violently attacking them. They just put the kids up, right? And make everybody think that it's all about the kids when it's just people using the kids to then come in. And it's crazy that it's even happening. So you got not only us dealing with that, you got the EU dealing with this big migration crisis because of the UN not doing their jobs. And this is what we got to understand. This is a triggered domino effect. That's why this is a military emergency. Trump needs thousands of troops at the border to stop this setup. They look to stage a way for UN to take over America. We won't stand for it. Choose the right side. America don't side with the globalists because that's the new world order, a collapse of our families and future economic conditions. And that's all on JWTV Network that I drew out to you. And we're not only going to just talk about this, let's show you how the UN has been failing on every level. UN envoy failed mission impossible bringing peace to Syria. That's one article right there telling you that failed. And even you got mainstream CNN report says UN global war on drugs has been a failure. All this coming out this month. Same time while we got all this situation happening. They're actually exposing the UN for who they really are. So now we got a national emergency because of this situation. Because this is what they do. The UN is doing this on purpose, right? The UN is the problem and the UN is the solution. And this is their business model, right? Because they're the problem and then they bring themselves in as the solution. So the UN is the big problem right here. And the UN is not doing their job. The UN has had reports flying through them, raping women and children and all that stuff. You think what America has done is bad? Well, you just wait till if the UN get in control. For all the people who's crying about what's happening in America right now. You think America's bad, you wait till the UN get in control. They'll be slaughtering every last one of you by the millions, but that's not what we want. That's why Trump is putting troops on the border and we're trying to stop this situation. Basically, they're coming in, they want them to take over, like I said, in democratic fashion. This is what they did in Europe. They have the people come in and then they take those people and let them vote. And like I said, some people's like, oh, well, they can't vote. Yes, they can. I mean, they've been encouraging this stuff. I've seen videos where Obama was like, oh, go ahead, you can vote. You don't have to be a citizen. They say all this stuff and they get them to come in and then they take forward with their agenda to bring in communists, full communists, right? Because we already got the internet trying to switch into communist control. But they'll have people ready to back that because they've already previously paid them, brought them in and told them, hey, this is what you're going to get. You know, free welfare, free all this, free that. Don't worry about it. Come on in. Like I said, you got the civil ones that just stopped and got in line, right? But nobody's talking about them stopping and getting in line. They're like, oh, all of them are just, they're just all good people. And I'm pretty sure most of the good people kind of stood back and said, okay, the military is going to be at the border. We need to chill out. and the other ones just kept going, because you got to think about it, this is a long journey all the way from Guatemala coming all the way up through Mexico. Look at your maps, going all the way up. As a matter of fact, let's just pull it up so you know some people have to be funded to even get that far, because most migrants can't even get that far. Most people I know who say, I want to get a passport, they say, I want to get a passport. They say, I don't know if I can make it that far. I don't have the funds to. But like I said, we showed you the video. They're just passing out funds to these people. And like I said, we want them to get help, but this is not the way. And this is set up by the UN. So anyway, let's just pull up and let you look in through it and see how far this walk is. And some people mentioned that, hey, they don't even look too raggedy and beat down. It's because it's all been set up. Now we're going to pull up the little map and try to look through this real quick and show you what we're talking about. Because this is a long journey for you to just be able to make it this far. All right, here we go. This is pretty much going to show you the little video I made yesterday. Not the whole video, but just the little map. As you can see, look at it, all the way from Honduras, all the way through Mexico, all the way up to the United States. That's a long journey. Super, super long. So yeah, you gotta think about that aspect as well. And like I said, this video is on JWTV Network. You can go check that out. And like I said, we want the people to get help, but this is UN collapsing them to trigger the domino effect, and we're next. Europe is Europe and it's us. We're next. That's what they're trying to do. They don't want these lawful, like Russia has borders, right? China has borders, right? America, no, y'all don't need to have borders. Y'all just let them come on in, let them flood in. They don't need to come and sign up legally or not. And then you think about all your plagues, like I said. So people don't think about that aspect as well. And then the viruses be ready to spread like a wildfire. So they have a lot of process to go through right now. But I expect you to hear the troops on the border either today, tomorrow, sometime this week. National emergency already been declared. Like I say, you go look up national emergency, the difference between national emergency and martial law. So you know the difference. We'll just give you the info early today because we're going to follow up with this later. But this is the info right now. National emergency has been declared. Let people know. Let them know that what's happening. Show them how the UN is failing. Show them how they're paying people to come in. Show them how most of the people that were civilized actually stopped. And then they grew in numbers and then put in ISIS fighters at the same time. And this is an emergency. And this is a domino effect. So we have to realize that, like I said, to even have a future. And you just be prepared for this situation. Like I said, this will drain the economy because UN wants to resettle them. And that's the problem. UN has the resettlement. And they do that. And you know, something else I heard that really, really got to me was they said that the Catholic Church was like, oh, let them in. No, let them in. And we know that the Catholic Church, and I'm not saying all Catholic churches, but I'm saying that the ones on the news has been reported, they've been caught with big pedophile rings. So it's obvious why they would say, Catholic Church says, let them on in. We open them with welcome arms. Yeah, because it's big pedophile rings, and that's what they want. They want them to come in, pedophile rings. So like I said, it was a setup to get them to leave. It's a setup to get them in here. It's set up for UN to set up refugee camps. So the best option for them to be go back home, fight for their country where they're at, and not be trained into warfare tactics and walk into this situation. So we're going to keep updating on this story, and we're going to keep giving you information. We're going to keep following it. And this is it for right now. We'll come back later for more and give you more detailed information. We got to keep following this because this is a national emergency. That's what we need to understand. This is a trigger domino effect. They're trying to pull the last card with this migration wars. It's called wars all throughout history. And like I said, we have to realize this to even have a future. So let's hope they do the right thing. But majority of them are ready to push forward because they're being funded. And this is the war plan. So Stephen Jackson, JWTV, thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, click the bell. Be back for more. Still broadcasting.